looking for a lead content designer for yet another unannounced project. But this one really does sound quite promising. So, blend, kind of the perfect candidate is blending compelling gameplay and storytelling to help us create play areas, quests, characters, and dialogue for an unannounced project. Collaborate within design, audio localization, art, world building, and engineering. Responsibilities. Champion a clear vision for mechanically and narratively interesting missions within an established Blizzard IP.
StarCraft, let's go!
Now, as much as I love StarCraft, it's not big enough for this as a franchise.
Yeah.
Diablo? I don't think I don't think they do this with Diablo. They actually, the rumors would have told us that they had an over-the-shoulder camera Diablo 4 that got canned.
Yeah.
Remember that? So I don't think this is Diablo.
No.
Is it Overwatch?
Later on, we'll see why.
Overwatch?
Fairly sure what it is.
Is it Warcraft?
Could be Overwatch.
I think it's fucking Warcraft.
It's almost already Warcraft, and we'll get to why.
Own the narrative experience for a new Blizzard game. Nice. Lead other designers to craft a framework to support replayable narrative content.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Replayable. No, that's fine.
Okay, extra points. Experience with world building and writing for role-playing games.
Yep.
Demonstrated ability to craft single-player missions, quests, stories, characters, and events within game development toolsets. Experience creating quests, points of interest, and characters within a shared world. Experience creating and running pen and paper RPG campaigns and or live action RPGs.
Yep. And then obviously the key attributes of a love of RPG games, tabletop or computer, which to me screams, this is not going to be God of Warcraft. This isn't going to be anything like that. It's going to be substantially, probably smaller, and a lot more focused on the kind of the customization and the unique experience you can have going into the narrative RPG. Because what you want from people who are good at that is you want a lot of that game design that blends with narrative stuff. You want that creating interesting set pieces for players to play through and a whole bunch of stuff like that. Which means to me, if you're thinking of, well, what do you expect from a game that requires a lot of pen and paper RPG experience? And I'm thinking kind of stuff. I'll tell you what I'm thinking most of everything else. I'm thinking Hades.
Whoa.
I'm thinking Hades because replayable narrative content. Obviously, we have no idea what the gameplay is, so it could be turn-based, it could be, anything. They don't know yet. They clearly haven't figured it out. But I think that a CRPG could be a CRPG. Almost certainly feels like one from how this goes. So I feel like that's going to be it. A CRPG or a Warcraft Hades, probably turn-based, because I don't know if they have much action-y, especially if they want to spread things out. I'm thinking they wouldn't go with cards because of Hearthstone, but Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire, Hades kind of game, but Warcraft feels like what they would do. Maybe a Ruined King kind of game, yeah. That's exactly the thing where they're probably looking going, why are we not doing this really cool stuff? So a CRPG or a turn-based, probably not indie scoped, but indie inspired game, I think.
Even the prospect of a Divinity.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine it'll be a smaller scope.
I'm so much more jazzed to get into that because one of our friends actually works for what you fucking call him, Larian? Yeah, fucker got a job with Larian, which is really cool. Just I don't know, based off that, I'm like, man, maybe I should get into this Baldur's Gate early access version.
Just wait for it to be good.
But it's funny actually for the initial version. Oh, for once I actually have this boy to. For once, it was for this. Eventually, or at the start, it was airships. And this came from a Sweeney Todd shaving game that we had an idea for.
Of course it did.
It was basically a mixture. What's the movie? High Rise? High Tower? Remember. The one where you're actor man, and it's society, the poor people at the bottom of the tower, the rich people at the top of the tower. It was kind of like
Judge
that
Dredd?
with shaving, where it's you were kind of like the barber for the rich people, and you have all these interesting sort of Sweeney Todd inspired decisions. And then it turned into airships, then it turned into mechs. But at least at one point, it was looking at Divinity. Is it Divinity Dragon Commander? I remember
Shrine
TB
Commander.
doing, the one it was like the Divinity
Yes,
RTS
yeah,
like
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Oh, yeah,
I remember
yeah, yeah.
TB doing a video, and that was just one of those games that seemed to be quite, not perfectly well polished, but certainly quite lovable.
Yeah.
And like even that was like an interesting format of game. But anyway, no, I remember going through a bunch of the older Larian output as like a part of research for that. So I don't know. Maybe I've just latched onto it. I'd really like a Larian-like experience, but I don't really know if
I mean,
how doable or if that would be big enough for Blizzard to do. I mean, certainly
yes.
the tabletop or computer bit makes me think that.
Yeah, I definitely think that is that's something I expect them to. It's so Blizzard as well. Like you think, why have Blizzard not made one of those games? It fits so perfectly into their what they like to do, what they I imagine there is a world where World of Warcraft was a CRPG instead of an MMO. I could completely imagine that happening.
Yeah, and I mean, fuck me sideways. Riot are content to have indie scoped projects within their world.
Yeah, I mean they have Ruined King, which by all accounts is a pretty good game.
Yeah. So, I mean, it'd be kind of cool if Blizzard was willing to do something similar.